President Obama will leave the G20 summit in China shortly, headed for Laos. The president wanted to broker a groundbreaking deal with Russia, ending the Syrian regime's air attacks on civilians. That would allow aid to reach besieged and starving cities like Aleppo. But Russia pulled back at the last minute.
The president's trip was marked by an awkward opening moment. In fact, when he was forced to exit the belly of Air Force One. Some observers described it as a Chinese snub. Margaret Brennan in Hangzhou, China, looks at the increasingly tense relationship now between Washington and Beijing. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, China is tightly controlling this G20 summit, and they've placed lots of restrictions on the news media. And ironically, that has made even small disagreements between the U.S. and China more public. Every head of state visiting China for the G20 summit was greeted with pomp and circumstance the moment their plane doors opened. But President Obama's arrival did not go smoothly. As he stepped off Air Force One, the red carpeted stairs were missing, forcing President Obama to use an alternate exit typically reserved for war zones. On the tarmac, a Chinese minder tried to block U.S. press access, screaming at a White House aide, "This is our country, this is our airport." Then he yelled at National Security Advisor Susan Rice and tried to prevent her from entering the president's motorcade. The Secret Service had to intervene. Rice told a reporter they did things that weren't anticipated. It was a sharp contrast to Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Washington last September, when Vice President Joe Biden greeted him at the plane door.
I went over a crank. The significance of it.
President Obama downplayed the incident, saying his sizable entourage can be overwhelming for host nations. But he acknowledged the tension.
The seams are showing a little more than usual in terms of some of the negotiations and jostling that takes place.
If they want to deliver a message to the president, that's not the way they would do it.
Former principal advisor on Asia to President Obama, Jeffrey Bader, said the Chinese were not trying to embarrass the president.
I think it was just very aggressive security people on both sides who pushed their luck a bit too far.
But there is plenty of very real tension behind closed doors. President Obama says he's concerned by growing anti-American sentiment here, China's aggressive military expansion, and its unfair trade practices. All of that, Vlad, has complicated his plans to refocus America's economic and military might towards Asia.
Margaret Brennan on the ground for us in China. Margaret, thanks.